Hey everybody, and welcome to my first Speed Build Saturday. Today we are hopping into Glimmerbrook because I figure if I was going to start a YouTube channel with the name Amber Enchantress in the month of October, how could I not do a magical cabin build? So here we go, I'm going to hop right into it, and you guys just sit tight and enjoy the tunes. So once I was happy with how the pool and the landscaping looked, I moved ahead to the quote-unquote ground level of this build. And it's a cabin, so it's a little boxy on the outside, but I tried to use a lot of wood tones just to, make it feel warm and inviting. And I tried to make it look really verdant around the lot just to, make it look like it's well taken care of. So I'm going back into the front yard here and going further into the landscaping. When I'm making hills, I like to make a couple plateaus first and then smooth the terrain between the two. I just tend to get a smoother transition between low and high that way. Moving right along to the inside where I am starting to add in the stairs and things. As you can see, I ended up having to change the stairs from what I wanted a double to a single, but sometimes it is what it is. And those stairs don't even end up in the final build anyway, so Now, even though the cabin is a little bit blockier on the outside, I really wanted it to have an open sort of floor plan on the inside. I just think it made the space feel bigger without that wall there, and I do end up deleting it here shortly, but I struggle for a little bit with the kitchen before I finally decide to get rid of that wall. So So something you'll notice as we go through this build is I really could not decide about how I wanted the outside of the house to look. I had a basic idea. I wanted wood on the top 2 floors. I wanted stone on the bottom and on the chimney, but I couldn't decide on a color for the wood. And I redo it probably 3 or 4 times, I feel like. But it ends up being cute in the end anyway, so be patient with me. And then here's actually a little trick with the roofing. If you use a tinier side piece, you can actually cut down a lot on the clipping on the inside of the house, which is why I used that really skinny roof on the side of the house. And just like that, we are back inside and I am working on the living room, which it's kind of wide, long, I guess, for a living room. So I struggled for a little bit with the layout, but once I figured out that I could put like, this little table behind the couch, like one of those built-in little shelves, I went ahead and did that just to fill in the space. And then here I go, floating again to the bathroom this time, but it looks like I might actually finish a room for once before I move on, so that's interesting. And here we go. You get to see a little bit of the madness here while I'm trying to figure out colors, but I just could not settle on anything until I found this carpet. And then I was like, teal? Teal. And then once I'm done with the entryway, I turn back around to the kitchen just to get the shelving up because it was still very empty, and I just can't have that. And there's about to be a pretty stark transition between day and night right here because I just decided to pop into the lighting, so bear with me here, but I tend to do this. I'll do a lot of furnishing in the daytime and then I'll switch to nighttime and see how it looks before I start lighting it. And that helps me get kind of a more realistic lighting, I feel like. Here we go, the exact point in the build where you can tell that the pond tool came out, because why would we use a pool when we could have a pond and have ducks and fireflies? I mean, it's just gonna be cute. And here I go, painstakingly evening out a hillside so I can put a tree there and still have a nice smooth looking hill. Apologize for just popping around the build so much, but I do think I get a little bit more consistent when I started to consciously think about it. I at least finished decorating down here, I think. I hope, I pray. But it looks like I do decide to stay down on the bottom floor, and I went ahead and threw down another bathroom because I found that when you have more bathrooms in a house, that your Sims just tend to get along a little better. And I don't mean with each other, I mean just with their needs. You know, that's when they decide to go to the bathroom instead of just peeing themselves in the middle of the floor. And then finishing up the basement, I go ahead upstairs to work on the floor plan up here. I just threw down some paint and some fence real quick so, you know, nobody falls down the stairs. Don't want that. Uh, and I did struggle for a little bit on how I wanted to split up the rooms up here because at first I thought I was just going to make a huge like study room, but then I was like, kids. So I decided to make 2 bedrooms over there and then 2 bathrooms upstairs as well. I wasn't sure whether I wanted to have the secondary bathroom attached to Mom and Dad's room, but I ended up working it into the design of their room, so it worked out pretty well, I think. And since we're building in Glimmerbrook, I figured magic casters were probably going to live here, so it's not going to be complete without a cauldron. And then in the second bedroom, I decided that I figure an older sibling would be in here, so I decided to make the room a little bit more fun. I figured Big Sis would have her best friend over, jam out, play some video games on these nice comfy pillows on the floor. It just looks like a really fun place for 2 young Sims to hang out and have some fun. And now we're finally on to the last bedroom in the house, and I figured Mom and Dad weren't quite done having kids yet, so I made this a toddler room, and it actually ends up being pretty damn cute at the end. It ends up looking a lot like Candyland, which I think is a really fun vibe for a toddler room. Another prime example of my short attention span. I don't even know what I saw to make me hop back over to Mom and Dad's room, but I went ahead and rearranged it a little bit, threw the ensuite in, and then I actually wanted to have a more natural vibe in their bathroom like the rest of the house, so I went with stone on the floor and wood on the walls. And then since we've got a couple of magic casters in the house and we're in Glimmerbrook, I figured we could use some of this weird gilded toilets and showers and stuff like that, because I never do. They're just a little fancy for a toilet, you know what I mean? And then, as sad as it is to say, as we hop into this fourth and final bathroom, this is actually one of my favorite rooms in the house just because of the colors I got to use in it. I saw that shower curtain with the crow on it, and I just fell in love with that blue color. And I end up really sticking to that color in there, and it just ends up so pretty and so different from the kind of bathrooms that I normally build that I just love it. With the final bathroom just about finished, it's about time for me to be hopping back outside just to finish up the landscaping. And by that I mean like dolling up the water, hiding all those ugly steep hills on the sides with some debug rocks. It really ends up looking, well, magical at the end. Then, as we finally finish placing our last rock, we can finally get into the best part of this build, and that is the crystals. Oh my gosh, I love how much these glow at night. They just look so pretty, and I can't stand it. They're so gorgeous. We're back to some of my poor build management skills with adding the windows in very last, of course. So trying to get them to look good from both the outside and the inside at this point was a little bit of a challenge, but I think it ended up looking nice overall at the end anyway. as I do the last couple details with the landscaping, I go ahead and jump back into, buying stuff because the porch was still empty, but not before I shuffle up the entryway. That's all right. It ends up being super cozy and cute, just like I wanted, so it's all right. And since the outside's done, I want to head back in and just started adding curtains, just the last couple finishing touches to really make this place look a little bit more lived in. And with that, we're just about done. So I'll go ahead and hop into the tour here in a minute in game and give you guys a better look at everything. So here we are in game in our nice little magical cozy cabin, and I really like how it looks at night. I just love how the crystals light up. I can't help myself to some nice debug. But there is the front. We will go ahead and swing around to the back here. So there's the back, the boat and everything. I'll go ahead and take us down in through the boat actually. Oh look, the creek is melting. Cute. Anyway, so down here we've got a nice little garage area for the boat. I really wanted this to be on the water, and I did cut out the part where I did it as a pool because the pond tool came out right after I did it. But there's also a little indoor garden, a little outdoor. Oh no, that's a big rock in the way. Oh well. Oh no, my doors disappeared. Oh well. Anyway, and we go upstairs, and the front door, we've got a nice little porch to sit on. And then inside, we've got a kind of colorful living room, to be honest. A little more colorful than I usually go. And a nice little deck where we can eat outside. And then a huge space to entertain inside at a huge kitchen island. And then we have a little bathroom down here with a shower bath combo. And then if we go upstairs again, we've got the laundry. And then if you notice, mine has a ladder there instead of stairs. That's why I cut them out of the video. I will re-upload this live after this goes up with the ladder if you guys are interested. And then we'll go ahead and start with the bathroom, I guess. So I really love this bathroom. I love all of the aqua. I really liked getting to be able to use these kind of out there counters in here. I was just really glad at how well everything went together, really. And then we've got a little desk outside all of the bedrooms. We'll go ahead and do mom and dad's first, where, oh god, the baby is blocking the computer. Oh well. And then mom and dad have a private little balcony with a chess table. Mom's a witch. And then they also have a master suite, so their own little built-in bathroom. And then next door would be the older child's room, I imagine. And, well, they ended up having twins, so that didn't work out as I planned. And finally, our little Candyland toddler room, which is just so colorful and fun. I love it. But with that, the build is complete, and I really hope you guys like the finished product. Like the video if you liked it. Leave a comment down below with what you'd like me to build next. Subscribe if you're new here, and then as always, guys, have a good day. See you next time.